Hey guys, Reef Guy 92. We're going to talk about livestock, and we're going to talk about live rock, and we're going to talk about a few pests that might just come along with that live rock you buy. We're at the 175 downstairs, and I've got my little 5-gallon. The lights are off. These guys' lights are going to be off pretty soon. I want to talk to you guys about some, well, let's say 10 little critters and creatures that fish that you can put in your little nano tanks at home that are typically safe to do such within a range of about 30 gallons and under. Always keeping in mind that the size of the fish and how many fish you have is super important on your little nano tanks. Number one on my list is a yellow clown goby, a wonderful addition to any kind of smaller nano tank. They love to perch on corals and love to watch you. They have a great personality. They're a bright little pop of color, but just be cautious. They can nip at corals. They are tending to eat at SPS corals, so keeping these little guys with caution is always an important aspect of these little fish, but if anything, they are generally reef safe. Number two are clownfish. These are two clownfish that I won, bullet hole clownfish. They do tend to pair up, and they can breed in your reef tank. Clownfish are great additions to any smaller tank. They're great for bigger tanks. They are wonderful little fish to watch, and they can do wonderful things. There are many different types of clownfish. This is a regular standard 3-striped clownfish. There are the ones like I have that are designer clownfish, and they are coming up with more and more every day. They're a great fish to have around, great community fish, and make a wonderful addition to any kind of tank. Number 3 on my list is Bangai Cardinal. Lots of stripes and patterns, really neat fish to have. They are mid-dwelling, so they do stay to the mid of the tank if you have a higher tank. And these are also another fish that will breed in the aquarium and are great personalities and are really neat fish to have. Great for smaller tanks. Number 4 is the green Chromis. These fish do like to school together. They stick into groups. I've had this one for probably around 4 years. They are great blue color and a little bit almost green tinge. But do get them with caution that some of the big ones will pick on the other ones and actually kill some of their own. Number 5 is the yellow-tailed damsel. They are semi-aggressive. They can be a bit of a jerk sometimes, people might call them. They are great color to add to your tank. They do really well in small aquariums, so if you're not planning to put a lot of fish in, these can generally be a really good choice to add a good pop of color and give your tank some life. Number 6 on my list is Dragonettes. These make wonderful colored fish. They're pretty decent in nano tanks. Be prepared to maybe hopefully feed them if you can, because they do eat pods, and pods are hard to come by sometimes in a small aquarium, and these can actually eat them all if you don't have enough. Let's switch gears and talk about reef pests. These are small little creatures that might come along with some live rock that you picked up, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. So I'm going to give you guys a quick little list of a few that I've come across in my tanks quite commonly, and I've seen a lot of people asking what they are. Number 1, spaghetti worms. These are common in your sand bed. They will come out, you won't even know you have them, and all of a sudden you see these little strings on your sand. If you can see them there, they're very faint. These are great things to have. They collect any uneaten food. They clean up some detritus along your sand bed. So keep them. They're good to have. They are a very common thing to have in your tank. And this is in a shot of what they look like when they're actually outside of your sand bed. Number 2, you guessed it, it's an anemone. No, it's Aptasisa, and they're awful. These are stinging cell organisms. They kill corals. They kind of look okay, and they'll give some life to your tank, but get rid of them as fast as you can. They spread like wildfire. There are a few ways to get rid of them. One of the most common ways is peppermint shrimp, and number 2 would probably be your filefish. Again, in a small aquarium and nano tank, good luck. You can't really have a filefish, but peppermint shrimp do pretty good at getting rid of these Aptasisa and these disgusting little things, and you'll probably have success over time. Number 3 is flatworms. These little creatures usually will come on a lot of LPS corals. They can be hard to get rid of, but there is actually some miracle solutions that you can buy on the internet that will actually kill off these little guys. Be cautious with those. Always additives can come with a risk, but they can be neutralized with flatworm exit. And these guys don't necessarily cause huge threats, but can get rid of coral colonies. So be careful to watch out for them when picking out corals, because they can take over a tank in a short amount of time. It's always important to dip your corals and always check any new livestock coming into your tank, just to make sure there aren't any of these pests around. Number 4 is bristle worms. These are really common. I wouldn't call them a pest. A lot of people want to get rid of them. The only reason why I would say you'd want to get rid of them is if you're moving your hands in your tank a lot. They can leave a nice little bristle for you, hence the name, and they will turn your hand quite red and be quite painful. These don't necessarily harm anything in your tank unless they're, bugging a coral. Sometimes they can bug clams. So there are some cautions, but are generally nothing much to worry about. Number 5 is pineapple sponges. Congratulations, you just made your own filter feeders and your tank is thriving. These are great to have around. They'll show up in your sump, on the back walls that aren't touched much, and even underneath some rocks. Oh, wait, hold on. Wrong pineapple. Number 6 are pods. These will show up in your tank. Your tank is doing healthy. These are great things to have around. These are food for those dragonettes that I'm talking about. There will be different kinds of pods. You'll have bigger tiger pods. You'll have different types of amphipods. They may show up in your filter. If you've got a sump, they'll show up in there. Nano tanks, you probably won't have a sump. You may, but they're going to show up in your rocks. Generally around nighttime, they'll come up and clean up some stuff. They will eat detritus. They'll clean up any kind of leftover food and stuff. So great to have around. The more you have, the better your tank is doing. They'll typically come with live rock, and they'll show up just on their own. So congratulations again. You're doing well if you see those. Number 7 is a Stomatella Snail. These will show up again naturally on live rock that you pick up from anywhere. They can come as hitchhikers on corals that you buy. They're a great little inhabitant to have. They'll breed on their own and clean up any bits and stuff in your tank. So again, congratulations, you're doing good if you're seeing these. Number 8 are emerald crabs. These are excellent things to have around. They do clean up bubble algae. They're one of the few crabs that do, and are generally reef safe. There are a lot of crabs that come around in your reef tank that aren't reef safe, so do your research and make sure they don't take your money. Number 9 on my list is Astrina Starfish. These starfish will grow rapidly. They'll break limbs off and grow another one, so they can overpopulate and become a nuisance. There are different types of shrimp actually that will take care of this, known as a harlequin shrimp, and they'll take care of these little starfish if you show much desire. Some of them can eat zoas, some of them can eat corals, so being cautious with them is always good to do, and keep an eye on them. Last but not least, number 10 are nudibranchs. Some of these nudibranchs are absolutely gorgeous. This is one that I would love to have, but some of them not so much. This is a Monitpora eating nudibranch, and they can be devastating to Monitpora corals. That's why it's always important to check your corals and make sure you look at them and give them a good inspection before adding them to your display tank or even doing a coral dip. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this and got some good information.
I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for following along with these last 4 videos. If you haven't seen the first one, jump back. I'll put a link up in the description here, and we will get you guys to take a look at the first video, and you can follow along in this 4-part series. Don't forget to subscribe down on the side here. Click my face. Always love the subscriptions. Thank you so much, guys, for all your support.